Hello, this is Gabi from Bluebonnet Crafters, and in this video I want to show you how you can weave little squares with a side length of 1 inch on a loom that follows the weave it or zoom weaving method. We're looking into this because just recently the new Little Looms magazine came out, and it has the most adorable little gnome project in it by Deborah Bagley. And those flowers that you can see here are made using 1 inch squares, and Deborah is just simply a master of turning squares into all kinds of shapes. But this is why a lot of people are asking right now for 1 inch square looms. They are available, but I have not yet found a video, so I decided to make a little video on how to use it. Why do I think that's necessary? I can show you, because if you look at that loom, and when you say use the weave it method with the 3-pin grouping, this is like, okay, where are the 3 pins? This is because once you get down to 1 inch, there's really not much left other than the corners of the zoom loom. So that means here the corner 1 of the zoom loom is here, corner 2 of the zoom loom is here, corner 3 of the zoom loom is here, and corner 4 of the zoom loom is here, and that's it. There's nothing in between really. And so a 1 inch is pretty much the minimum to utilize that weaving method. And I want to show you quickly how to weave 1 square. For the weaving, I measure about 1 width of the loom as the tail, and then I use a little piece of tape to just secure it right here on the side so that it stays put and out of my way. And then I start weaving as I would be weaving on the zoom loom, but I do it slowly so that you can follow along. And please feel free to follow along and pause and then compare if you do the same motions, all right? So going between here to the top, around those 2 guys, back to the bottom, the last 2 here in this set, skip the first one here, go about around those 2. So this is what your first layer looks like. And then you turn, go around those 2 pins here, go to the top, around, skip the first one, and this is probably the side that's the closest to the regular zoom loom weaving. Go to the bottom, skip the first one, go to the top, skip the first one. That's your second layer. All right, turn it back, skip the first one at the top, and this gives you the little loop around the corner here. Skip the first one at the bottom and go around the next 2 ones. Go around the 2 ones at the top. And come out here in the center, between or in this slightly larger gap. Okay, that is your 3rd layer, and that's it. Now we need to wrap that we have enough, and 2 wraps will actually be enough for the weaving. If you want to do a little bit more, that's fine, but 2 wraps is enough. So this is like 1, and 2 and snip. All right, I'm using a 4-inch needle. Make sure if you buy a needle that it's thin enough to go between the twins, whatever loom you are using. Then you carefully unwind. This is all a little bit wiggly because there's just really not much weaving and winding. And you thread your loom, and then you can start weaving as you usually do. So dive in at number 2 in the corner, over, under, over, under, over, and under the starting thread. And I pause here so that you can see it. All right, pull it through, and that's your first row. And then here is your clue that you have. This is where you have to dive in next. For right-handers, you can turn. I weave back and forth, but you can turn. You go over the loop on the outside, under, over, under, over, under, over, and under. Okay, pull it through. That's your second row, and turn. There's your clue. You have to go between the 2 pins that have the yarn go around them. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Looks like this. And you pull it through. And turn one more time. And this is where you here go through the corner. Dig in and then go under, over, under, oops, over, under, over, and under, like this. This is your last row. And if you are newer to this, this is like right against the pins. And you pull it through, and that's it. So you have to weave 4 rows. On the 4th layer, and that's all you need. I will take this one just off. You could go ahead and weave in the ends right now. Take off the tape here. So this is what it looks like. And you could weave in the ends right here. I would just go along, and I'll just move the needle so that you can see where it goes. So that it stays put, I would weave in the ends all the way through between the first and the second woven row so that it stays put, and do the same here with the end tail. And that's when you get something like this. So these are the squares with the ends woven in. So that you can see both. I leave this one with the ends out, and all you need to do is just lift it off the loom, and then here you have it. And you see that the corners here you have it. you see that the corners are very much like what you're used to from the Zoom loom. So there's a little corner to the bottom right, and the big corner to the top left, and then the start tail here and the end tail here. So it's a real weave it square, just with nothing in between the corners. Zoom out a little bit. So I hope this is useful. You know where to find me if you have any questions. And happy weaving and crafting.